Wait. Stop what you're doing for just a moment. Imagine being 11 years old. Your biggest hero, your best friend, your mentor, the man you idolized is still alive. You're celebrating your birthday together. You're planning your racing future together. Life feels perfect. You feel invincible because he's there. And then, 5 days later, he's gone. That's not a hypothetical. That's not a movie script. That's Brexton Busch's reality. And it gets so much darker from here. Days after NASCAR lost Kyle Busch, the family he left behind is facing something that shook the entire racing community. But this isn't just about grief. This isn't just about loss. Just 48 hours before his death, he was found unresponsive in his driving simulator at his Charlotte home. 911 calls reveal he was coughing up blood on the bathroom floor. At 41 years old, this two-time Cup Series champion, known as Rowdy for his aggressive, fearless driving style, was gone. But here's what nobody's telling you about the aftermath. The real crisis. The one that's destroying this family right now. The garage at Charlotte Motor Speedway went completely silent during the tribute weekend. Not the quiet of respect, the quiet of shock. The quiet of a community that couldn't process what had happened. Drivers stayed unusually quiet. Team members looked visibly shaken. Some of them had raced against Kyle for decades. Some had beaten him on the track. But none of them had prepared for this. The energy that made NASCAR impossible to ignore suddenly disappeared. Thousands of fans stood in complete silence, processing the loss of one of racing's most iconic figures. The silence was unbearable. We're approaching 500 subscribers, and we need your help to get there. If you're watching this story and want more real NASCAR breakdowns like this, hit that subscribe button right now. Comment, share, and let's build this community together. Now, let's continue. But here's what makes this tragedy even darker than most fans realize. Off the track, Kyle Busch wasn't just a NASCAR star, he was a husband, a father, and someone who truly lived for his family. His final social media post celebrated Brexton's 11th birthday. 5 days later, he was dead. That reality hit different. For years, fans watched Kyle and Brexton together at every race. They traveled constantly. They celebrated victories together. Kyle spent countless hours mentoring him, training him. But now an 11-year-old boy had lost his best friend and mentor. The moment everything became real was when Brexton changed his Facebook profile picture to a photograph of himself hugging his dad. That small digital gesture broke the hearts of the entire racing community. No child should experience that kind of loss in front of the world's cameras. Standing at the center of the tribute weekend was Samantha Busch, trying to stay strong. Standing beside her was Kurt Busch, Kyle's brother, facing something no brother ever wants to experience. A 4-year-old daughter, Lennox, was too young to fully understand what had happened. During the moment of silence, something profound occurred. Owen Larson, the 11-year-old son of Kyle Larson, walked over and hugged Brexton. Two kids bonded by racing, now bonded by grief. This small gesture showed what Brexton would never have again, a father at his side. But the tragedy runs much deeper than the emotional loss everyone could see. According to several recent reports, the family had been dealing with major financial stress connected to an alleged insurance-related scam that reportedly cost them millions of dollars. Millions of dollars. Not just grief, not just loss, financial devastation too. Kyle and Samantha had publicly spoken about their infertility struggles and IVF treatments, painful experiences they chose to share instead of hiding. Fans felt connected to their journey. But beneath the surface, other struggles were mounting. Injuries throughout his career. The pressure of being a two-time champion. And now, an insurance scam taking millions from the family's security. Samantha Busch had fought beside Kyle during the hardest periods of his life. She stood by him through infertility battles, through injuries, through controversies. She supported him through the insurance nightmare. And now she was facing it alone, with 2 children, after losing the person who held the family together. The questions became impossible to ignore. How was Samantha supposed to raise Brexton and Lennox alone? Would there be financial security? Did Kyle have adequate life insurance given the scam context? Were there medical bills from his hospitalization? The reality. Imagine carrying all of that pressure, then suddenly losing the person who held the family together. That's the burden Samantha now carries. Richard Childress Racing made a significant decision. They suspended use of the number 8 car. The No. 8 is reserved and ready for Brexton Busch when he is ready to go NASCAR racing. Austin Hill would drive the number 33 instead. Kyle's last 3 Cup Series wins came with the number 8 in 2023. This paralleled what RCR did after Dale Earnhardt's death in 2001. The number 3 was shelved, replaced by number 29. It took over a decade for the number 3 to return. Here's where the story becomes complicated. Brexton has over 150 youth racing victories. He won the Golden Driller at the prestigious Tulsa Shootout. He made his Legends car debut and won in his 5th start. He's stepping up to full-size stock cars this year at Madera Speedway. The dream exists. Someday he drives the number 8, but the pressure is already building. Every time people will watch Brexton race now, they see a young driver carrying one of NASCAR's biggest family legacies on his shoulders. But he's 11. He just lost his dad. Even at a young age, Brexton had already earned over 100 youth racing victories, and fans regularly compared parts of his driving style to Kyle because of how aggressive and confident he looked behind the wheel. Fans are already comparing him to his father, already expecting him to carry the legacy, already building the narrative. Consider Kyle's career achievements: 63 Cup Series wins, 2 championships in 2015 and 2019, one of NASCAR's most unforgettable personalities, one of racing's greatest drivers ever. How can an 11-year-old ever measure up? One old quote from Kurt Busch has recently started spreading online again because fans now hear it differently after Kyle's passing. Years ago, Kurt proudly admitted he believed Kyle would eventually become an even greater driver than himself. Chase Elliott publicly promised to help Brexton. Elliott stated, "I will throw my name out there now and for as long as needed. Brexton knows that I'm a phone call away. I can't promise that I would have as much knowledge to offer him as his dad, but I certainly would be more than willing to offer anything." Elliott understood this loss. He didn't have his father's guidance early, but no mentor can replace a father. The NASCAR community rallied beautifully. Tributes were moving. Promises of support were genuine. The NASCAR community is united around the Busch family. Moments bigger than racing remind us how close this garage truly is. But here's the uncomfortable reality. Mentorship helps, financial support helps, but it doesn't heal grief. The unanswered questions mount. The insurance scam that devastated the family financially, we still don't have clear answers. Who was responsible? Is there legal recourse? Will the family recover any of it? Did the stress impact Kyle's health? These questions remain buried while the racing world focuses on the number 8 car sitting unused. Samantha Busch is still figuring out how to move forward. Brexton is still processing his loss while the entire world watches. Richard Childress Racing is holding the number 8, waiting for a future that may never come. The questions are piling up faster than anyone expected. The support is real, but is it enough? The NASCAR community wants to believe Brexton will someday drive the number 8. But what does Brexton want? What does Samantha need? What happens if the answers aren't what we're hoping for? This family needs more than tributes. They need time. They need privacy. They need support that doesn't come with expectations. If you believe this story deserves attention, if you want the real NASCAR breakdowns that dig deeper than surface-level tributes, share this video. Drop a comment telling us what you think the Busch family needs most right now. And if you enjoy real NASCAR analysis like this, you'll love what's coming next. Subscribe now so you don't miss the updates when we get real answers to these questions. Help us reach 500 subscribers. Your support makes stories like this possible.